Hello everybody. Today we are here with Tim and Amanda Morley, who were born near London, but since 25 years ago they are living in Liverpool, where they have founded an academy, English academy called Imagine English. That was in 2013.
Yeah.
Imagine English helps people to learn English, but also help people to feel welcome here in this city in Liverpool. They also collaborate with other organizations like Red Cross and English. They provide English lessons for refugees and asylum seekers. If you want to know more about them, follow us. Tim and Amanda and Tim. I wonder what has been your occupation so far. Well, before you started Imagine English.
Okay, well, for myself, I've been involved in various church leadership roles, but before that, just before we started the school, I was a lecturer. I was teaching at undergraduate level in various subjects.
I am a qualified school business manager, and I worked in a primary school on the Wirral for 17 years.
Oh, that's a lot of
Yeah.
years. How did you come up with the idea to create Imagine English?
Well, when we first started, I started it with a friend and a colleague of mine called Gary, and we were trying to think of a name, and we thought, well, it must have a Beatles theme to it somewhere, and we were thinking of famous Beatles slogans or songs, and it was Gary who actually came up with the idea, because John Lennon wrote an incredibly famous song called Imagine. So that is actually where we got the word Imagine English from, but it also tied in with the idea of students who need to learn English and imagine a better future, imagine what life could be like if you could speak English fluently. So there was all of those connotations, but it originally came from the John Lennon song.
Interesting. And why did you decide to start your own business?
I think it was because my colleague Gary and I, we had been teachers at various levels for quite a long time, and we started working with a company that is based in Monaco, where they send people to learn English inside the home, and Gary and I started to become teachers for them. And then when we looked at the business model, it was something that we felt that we could do as well. So we looked at it. Actually, in the end, our business model is very, very different from that model that we first thought we could do, and we've become more of a traditional school. But it came from, we were doing it, and we suddenly looked at the profit and the profit potential of it, and we thought this is something we could do. And I think probably in both of us at that time there was a desire to run our own business as well.
Yeah, I think that happens frequently, that you start a business with an idea, and then you must adapt that idea to what the market gives.
Yeah.
So you also collaborate with other organizations as well?
Well, we collaborate with two areas really. We have the Imagine English, but we have something called the Imagine Opportunity, which is it's not a charity as such, but it's the charitable wing where we go out most of the time into the community, and we teach people English who are refugees and asylum seekers and things like this. And we work with probably at the moment 3 or 4 charitable organisations. Red Cross is one that we're developing a relationship, and we've taught some people that have come through Red Cross, and we do that basically out of the funding of the main business. But we also work with an organisation in Llandudno in North Wales, and they are a language school, but predominantly they take mostly children, but adults as well, and they give them adventure holidays in Llandudno, so all sorts of things they do there, and they have a big hotel, but they also teach English. So we've developed a relationship with them whereby, so if people want to come to the school but they want a bit of add outdoor activities, outdoor adventures away from the city, we have a relationship where we work with them, and vice versa. When they have people come to them but they want to experience the city, then they point them in our direction. So we have a really good developing working relationship with them, because they offer something we can't, and we offer something that they can't.
So you complement each other, and you can offer your students other activities apart from the learning of English.
Yeah.
Where do your students come from?
Okay, we have students from all over Europe, so Italy, France, Spain. We've had Turkish students, we have students from the Middle East. So quite a very Latin America, yes, that's the countries.
Do you have any special tip for these people who want to learn English? Any special piece of advice?
The best advice I think I could give is, when you're coming to England, try not to live with people of your own nationality who speak your own language. You really need to try and get out into the community and speak with English people. And when people really make a concerted effort to do that, we see the quality of their English just rockets. It's really, really good. It can be difficult because people can be shy, and talking to people you don't know at first and getting to know people isn't always easy. But that would be the biggest tip. We get a lot of people as well who have come because they specifically need to pass an exam for varying reasons, whether it's to get to university or just to get interviews in their home country. And then you just have to do the hard work with it. But if I could give one piece of advice, it would be talk to as many people as possible.
I think Liverpool is such a friendly city that students can find it quite easy just to go out, whether they're on the bus and start up a conversation, because Liverpudlians love to talk. So.
Yeah, we have that advantage here in the city. So yes, it might be challenging at the beginning, but you get used. The students get used. And what is the biggest challenge that you have faced in developing the business?
I think two major challenges. One is just, we stepped out of a different type of world, really, and a business type of world, where now we're having to learn how to market and learning that process. So, we'll if anyone wants to come and help us and advise us, that would be fantastic. So learning how the whole English language school works, how around the world. The second biggest challenge was actually getting our accreditation. So we've now done that, and we have our accreditation. That's only fairly recently, actually, but that was quite a challenge. But we've done that, and then I guess the challenges for the future is just developing the business.
Mm-hmm. Well done for getting the accreditation.
Thank you.
A good step. Well, I know you have a house in Spain.
Yeah.
Where it is specifically, and why did you decide to have a kind of second residence in Spain?
Okay, the house is in the Malaga region, and it's in Villanueva del Trabuco. My Spanish isn't very good, but
Villanueva del Trabuco.
That's it. Yeah. We thought about we've talked about it for years to have somewhere abroad, and when our boys were little, we thought it would be France. I don't really know why we chose Spain. We went to Seville and just fell in love with the town there. But it was quite a hard place to get to, so we wouldn't be able to go for a weekend we would, but there'd be a lot of travelling. So we just looked in the region where it was easy to access from the UK, and we can actually get to the house and back cheaper than we can get to London on the train. So with the cheap flights now. So yes.
Yeah, and we just love we love most things Spanish. We love the food, the weather, the people we've met are very, very friendly. We have a lot of Spanish students here, and they're all great, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
yes.
The town is very traditional, and we just love the laid-back siestas, and everything's closed on a Sunday. It's just nice.
So you integrate with the local people there?
Trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to. But we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah.
It just takes time. It's a bit like we have to go out and speak Spanish, like we would tell people to speak English.
What other places in the world have you been?
We've been France, Italy, Istanbul, America, Spain.
Most of Western Europe. We've been in
yeah.
Belgium, Switzerland, most of Western Europe. Still haven't been to the Australias or the Japan. But, yeah.
Any favorite place apart from Spain?
I liked Istanbul. I thought that city was... We actually... we had a student stay with us in our home because we put students up as well. And he was with us for 6 months and he invited us. And so we stayed with him and he showed us the city. And he just gave us such a lovely time. Took us on a boat on the Bosphorus and I just fell in love with the city. It was
It's a
great.
beautiful city.
Yeah.
I went to Norway and that was probably one of the most stunningly beautiful places I've been to. So.
Well, now that the UK is leaving the EU,
Right.
what do you think, how it's going to affect this to the industry?
I think it's just, if I'm really honest, I just don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see. It's a really difficult question, and no one seems to know exactly, even at this very late hour. No one seems to quite know how it's going to go. That, some people are even thinking that we may not even leave the EU. So it's a really difficult one. I'm always going to be optimistic. I don't think it will impact our business too much, but I think as a business we cannot just rely on Europe. We have to start looking around the world. So, because if restrictions do come in place for people, then we need to be looking at other markets and other places.
If you had to start again the business, what is the biggest mistake you have done so far, and how would you do it differently?
I think the biggest mistake, because I was there right at the beginning, is I don't think we fully understood exactly how it all worked. So we had a few shocks along the way that way. I think it's sort of what I would say before, is that we needed to understand the marketing side of it a lot better. But I also think that we tried to do too much in the early days and didn't do anything that well in the first year. But we actually got a very good contract which kept us going and afloat, and that was really good. But if it hadn't been for that, it could have been very difficult. So now we're a little bit more cautious about what we actually take on and whether we can actually handle it or not at this moment in time.
What makes Imagine English different from other schools?
I think one of the things that we've tried to do is create a family type atmosphere, because a lot of students will come on their own and they arrive in a big city and they're isolated. So we've tried to make them feel at home. We've tried to ensure that we help them with the national insurance number, even if that's just phoning and making an appointment. We do a lot of eating together as a school, so we do a lot of lunches. We go out twice a year. We have the students back to our house and the teachers, and we do a big evening or with food and drink, and everybody shares. So we're really trying to create a family atmosphere, because it can be a very lonely experience if you can't speak a language and you arrive in a big city where they're all so busy. So I think that would set us apart from the other schools. We're smaller, and so we can create and hopefully keep that family atmosphere going.
Yeah, I think we deliberately, intentionally limit the size of our classes so that people get a very good experience, and we can really narrow in on what their needs are, instead of them coming into something where there's a lot of numbers in the class and they just sort of sit there and go through the process and don't feel they've benefited too much. So it becomes more personalised really as well.
Mm-hmm. That's good, yes. Well, last question. What about the future? How do you see yourself in the personal aspect, but also how do you see Imagine English in the future? How do you imagine
How
English?
do I imagine English? I think this last year, with getting the accreditation, I think that's a major door that will open up, and we've got to then now learn how, you've got to explore that and learn how we grow from that. And I think we do want to grow. We have the capacity to grow without taking away from what we just said, the important values of what we are as a business and what we're trying to provide people. So I think really we do need to grow, we want to grow, we are going to be working a lot closer with agents, which is what we haven't done, so we have done but not as much in the past. So I think at the moment we're just looking for some steady growth to come. So I think that's where we are, and just see where that takes us.
I think we're enjoying creating Imagine English. We enjoy being with the students. Personally, it would be nice to spend a bit more time in Spain, but how far off that is, I don't know. So I don't know about the future personally. We've got grandchildren, so it's always enjoyable time with them. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I can see us building up more connections with other groups, and because I think collaboration is really important. So we're collaborating with this place these people in Llandudno, which is good. And I think that might be a way of future growth as well. Instead of just trying to grow on your own, that you start working with other people, and maybe even diversifying a bit as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, okay, I think I'm going to have to leave you because someone's knocking at the door, and hopefully it's new business.
Okay, well, I will leave you with your students.
Okay.
Thank you for listening and being there. I hope you have enjoyed this interview and get more interested in learning English if you don't know yet, and coming to Liverpool, where you can find a family here. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you in another video.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.